Thank you for welcoming everyone, Nirankar. And it's so good to see all of your faces. Welcome to our 90-day Nourish, Reset, Renew. I'm really delighted to be able to host this after the new year when everyone has made their resolutions and we are resolving the past. We're resolving all the things that took place in 2022, anything that didn't serve us, we can now let go of. We don't have to feel guilty about anything. We don't have to beat ourselves up if we were, struggling to meet whatever goals we had last year, because we have this opportunity to renew our intentions and create health together. And those of you who are here, some of you may already be ready to go and have your superfoods and ready to embark on a healthy journey that begins tomorrow. Some of you may be here for the first time and have just like, what am I doing here? What is going on here? Just checking it out. If you are, just put a 1 in the chat. If you're like brand new, just kind of like, what's going on here? All right, awesome. And then maybe put in the chat also how you heard about this. If you heard about it from a particular person, or maybe you heard about it from a group, feel free to share that. We always are interested in hearing how you guys know about this. Awesome. Go Midge. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just start with introducing a very dear friend of mine. And by the way, I'm Rachel. I've been on a health journey for many years. And I'll just say really quickly that I was struggling with Hashimoto's, autoimmune disorder of the thyroid, for like 9 years, struggling with energy, fatigue, brain fog, you name it. And I took many avenues to try to course correct, and including Western medications, including Eastern health and nutrition. I did so many different things, and it took me a really long time to figure out how to get healthy until I just spontaneously ran across this 90-day protocol that we're now introducing to you, that many of you have already embarked on. And so this is what changed my life forever. And I've been now 8.5 years free of any symptoms, completely good blood work. Everything is I'm no longer even anemic anymore. And so I'm just it's become my personal mission and passion and happiness and joy to share this with as many people as possible. And so we have this wonderful Facebook group that you're all invited to join if you haven't already, and where we share recipes and all kinds of things. And you're going to hear more about the group container. So I just wanted to give you that little kind of, little amp up for the beginning to give you some inspiration for the call. But I'd love to turn it over to Grace C., who's a dear friend of mine. Once I did this and I was shouting from the rooftops, oh my God, my energy's back, I feel amazing. One of the first people I talked to was my dear friend Grace, who's been one of my best friends since my 20s, since I was 20. I'm 50 this month. And yes, celebrating 50. And the fountain of youth is this protocol, I have to say. But Grace really took this on, and she was really struggling with her own health, and I could see that, and I really wanted to support her. And it was amazing to watch her blossom, and I'll let her share her own story. But she's also going to just create just kind of help start our container and launch us with some really wonderful intention settings. One of the things I've known Grace as is she has been a doula, a midwife, she founded the mystery school, the Carmel Mystery School. You have to correct me, is that correct? Yeah, the Carmel Mystery School. And she's just one of those people who has been a facilitator of many events that I've been to, and I just find her to be just so loving and delightful. And so without further ado, let me hand it over to Grace.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. I so appreciate you. Yeah, I want to really acknowledge you for the journey that you have been on yourself. Bringing healing to your own body through these nutritions and other practices, but also really committing yourself to diving into the world of health practitioner and regenerative health practitioner. And I've just seen you champion so many modalities in the, for the purpose of really supporting people to heal. So thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate you. Yeah, so welcome everybody. I'm so excited to look at my Zoom screen and just see so many faces and names. And if you have actually already done this protocol, would you just put a 1 in the chat? I'd love to just see who has already kind of dipped into this nutrition or done a protocol. Beautiful. So there's a handful. And if you're coming here because you are curious about getting started, or you've ordered your products and are about to get started, would you put a 2 in the chat so I can just kind of get a gauge of who we are? And awesome, wonderful, Trisha and Paget, beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. Well, what I want to say is that you will, through the course of time that you are on your Purium journey and checking it out, you will often hear people say, this changed my life. This gave me my life back. And the thing that I want to say is that this is no exaggeration. It really is true that people have profound experiences with nourishing their bodies deeply and what happens in the ripple of that nourishment, right? And I am no exception to that. And I can boldly and proudly say that this was a life-changing experience for me. I found this protocol and these superfoods when I was 2 years postpartum. And Rachel was, on her journey of addressing her Hashimoto's, and she was sharing on social media, and also my dear friend Anne, whose name you will see on here. And they're 2 women that I love and trust. And I was watching them on this journey and sharing about these beautiful results that they were having. And I reached out, honestly, with no exaggeration, I could almost cry, like at my lowest low, right? I had my daughter at the age of 42. My whole journey, my whole adult journey was like, I want to be a mom. I really want to be a mom. I want to be a mom. And it just didn't happen until I was 42. So at the time that I had my daughter, I was postpartum and also perimenopausal. So it was just a crazy hormonal storm inside of me. And some of the ways that manifested was hypothyroidism, extreme fatigue, constantly telling my 2-year-old, I don't have the energy to play, I can't play, and like seeing that disappointment over and over again. And every time I tell the story, it's a little reliving of it. It was so disappointing to have become a mother and then not feel like I had what it took to be the kind of mother that I wanted to be. All right. So when I say that I got my life back through these protocols, it's true. Right. So what happened for me over time is that I came back into myself. I had the fortitude and the energy finally, after being on this protocol for a while, to feel like myself again after becoming a mother. I was able to reduce my thyroid medication. I, over time, released 70 pounds, 65, 70 pounds, not immediately, but over the course of a couple of years of staying with this protocol. I eventually, inspired by Rachel, got into bodybuilding and got in the best shape of my entire life, total transformation. All right. And it all started, number one, with reaching a low, making a decision, and then really setting an intention of what I wanted to happen. And I'm telling you this because I want to give you a really specific invitation to get clear about what you would love to happen and to allow the sky to be the limit. All right. When I was waiting for my products. I ordered my products on the 11th of November in the year 2015. And I was waiting for my products to come. And I really dove into journaling. All right. So I wrote down like, some of the things I wrote. I actually just came across it the other day. I wish I would have pulled it into this meeting, but I wrote it that I wanted to release 20 pounds. And I'm not like a big weight person per se, but postpartum, I just found myself in a very different body than I had ever been in. And it brought up a lot for me. And I also like didn't have a lot of range of motion, and I was hurting in my joints. And so anyway, I had written that down. I wrote down, I want to get in the best shape of my life, which I did. I can't remember all the things, but there were like 7 things. And I did some doodles around it and drew this beautiful spiral. And then I took from that these key pieces that felt important to me, and I made a statement of intention. And I read my statement of intention every morning and every night of my journey. And when I would get to a place in the process where I was feeling like, I want to just go back to doing what I was doing because that feels easier, I would pull out my intentions and I would read them. All right. And I still have them. So every time I embark upon this journey, I do that process again of writing down my intentions, making just a sweet short statement that I can read in the morning and in the night. And actually at that time, I wrote it in the form of a prayer. Right. And so, intentions, prayers, mantras, those all hold a similar frequency, right? And that's really what we're doing, is conjuring a frequency. And you're going to hear a little bit more as we progress about like the levels of transformation that we can touch in this. But just to kind of sum it up, the invitation is to set some intentions and to actually write them down if you can. Not everybody does that process, but there's something that happens very powerfully when we connect what we're thinking in our mind, right? Move it through our heart, down our arm, and write it down and look at it again. We actually get to wire our brains. And you can write your intention. You might start with just putting down what your intentions are. And then I would encourage you, this is actually what I did. I wrote it in present form. I am so grateful now that I have, balanced my thyroid numbers. I have released 20 pounds. I'm feeling vibrant. I have the energy to play with my daughter. I dance every day. My community looks to me as someone that can support them in their health and their, so I wrote that out in present time as if it had already happened. All right. And I read it over and over again. And when we do that, the process of writing it, the process of reading it in that present day language, it helps our brain to rewire. And a really big part of creating whatever your version of success is, simply making the decision to honor yourself through tending your health, for me, that's already a success, right? And then if you did nothing else but put these superfoods into your body, you would still be creating success, all right? So that's what I'll say. And I just want to give you a couple of areas to think about as you're setting your intentions, and then I'll hand the mic over. All right. So what are your energy levels like? What would you like to experience in terms of the kind of energy and the quality of energy that you would like to have in your life? All right. Number 2, how's your sleep? Are you sleeping deeply? Are you dreaming? Is that something that you value? Are you waking up refreshed? Right. So energy, sleep, how's your digestion? Right? Do you feel bloated? Are you having regular bowel movements? Are things flowing? So digestion, depression, mood, right? So are you feeling like you have the quality of mood and interactions in your life that you want to be having? Do you feel like you have your head above water and more? And gosh, there's some other areas too. Oh, and then how are you feeling in terms of your weight? Do you want to gain weight? Do you want to lose weight? Is there anything you need to balance? What are your goals around exercise and fitness? Right. So these are just a few cues that you can think about and write in each of these areas, and then pull from each of those things that you wrote, the things that feel the most important and dear to you. And then the last piece is, before you write it in present form, I would like you to consider, how would it impact your life? How would it impact your relationships? How would it impact your quality of being? how will it when you achieve these goals? All right. So thank you so, so much for valuing your health. When we do the work of tending ourselves and getting more healthy and really caring about ourselves and healing, it actually creates a ripple that allows the whole collective consciousness to heal, right? So this is no like small, tiny thing that you're doing. And it also doesn't have to be hard, but just know that it can be profound and it can really ripple out in ways that can absolutely improve and create more positivity and vibrancy in your whole life. So thank you all for coming on. Appreciate you. And next, I would love to bring Stephanie to the table. Stephanie is a dear. Oh, was I supposed to hand it back to you, Rach? I don't know how we're navigating this.
That is totally fine. We can go to
Okay.
Stephanie. She has a great story.
All right, so I'll just go ahead and love Stephanie up a little bit because Stephanie and I actually met pre-Purium as well. We were both in the birth world, and she was making an incredible impact in terms of supporting people, birth workers, to create viable businesses. And she does business coaching in many areas, and she has had an amazing journey in health and in business. There's just so many things that I could say about you, Stephanie. You're such an inspiration, but I will let you share your story because it's from your heart and your experience, and just a pleasure to co-facilitate with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's really an honor to be here. Thank you for that gorgeous transmission, Grace, about setting intentions. I know that our words and our intentions are powerful, and when we utter them and when we write them down, it's meaningful. And I personally needed to hear that because I'm about to do this 30-day transformation as well. I've been in this gorgeous community for 7 years, and I was really struggling 7 years ago. I was a hot mess. I was perimenopausal. I was 50 pounds overweight, and I did not know what to do about all of that. My general practitioner had left Los Angeles, where I used to live, and I didn't have a naturopath at the time. And, you know, we don't know what we don't know. And so I was absolutely floundering. And I was very blessed to find this protocol from a client, a business coaching client. Grace mentioned that I was working in the business world as a coach for women entrepreneurs and many, many birth professionals, doulas, midwives, and health practitioners. So I had a very sedentary lifestyle. You know, I was seated daily in front of the computer, wasn't moving my body, and I certainly wasn't eating the right foods that my body needed. I was more focused on getting the organic strawberries into my own children's mouth, you know? And so when I found Purium's protocols, I was pretty desperate, but I was in this quiet desperation. Nobody knew what I was going through because we don't talk about it often, right? Like we go through day to day going, this body isn't working for me. I know I can improve my diet, but I don't know what to do. So Purium was the answer for me to just start loving myself more deeply with my daily nutrition. Daily. That's the key, because I was the chick that would go into Whole Foods and get my green drink and think that I'd be okay for the next 5 to 7 weeks. That was me. So learning about the power of superfoods and learning about the power of nutrient-dense organic nutrition daily was huge for me. It was absolutely transformational for me. So long story short, because I do have a few Purium stories when it comes to my health, I lost the 50 pounds and, you know, thought I was doing pretty good. And then 3 years ago, I received a breast cancer diagnosis, tumors in both breasts, 2 different types of cancer. And I was really whammied by that diagnosis because I thought I was healthy, you know, but here's what I was doing. I was going back and forth between eating foods that were really not good for me at all and then going into the Purium protocols, back and forth, the pendulum would swing. Fried foods, sugary foods, processed foods, dairy, coffee, alcohol, pork, and then I'd eat cleanly. And then I'd go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until the cancer diagnosis. And it was just like this massive stop sign. Stop. Stop doing this to yourself. Stop doing this to your body. This was not loving what I was doing to my body. It was not loving. And so I did stop. And I started a whole bunch of wild detoxing practices, which, I could go into a whole other Zoom about all the things that I've done to detox my body and to disappear cancer in my body. But I'm not going to do that today. But I do just want to highlight the practice of self-love that these protocols have been for me. I was teaching self-love in my work in the birth world and in my work as a business coach. And there's many ways that we can love ourselves, right? But food is so foundational. And seeing what's going on with the standard American diet and the dietary damage that I was participating in unconsciously, and knowing now what I know 7 years later in terms of how, a mentor that I deeply care about, deeply respect, calls it death by 1,000 cuts. The choices that we're making every day are affecting our bodies and our systems and our organs every day. And most people have no idea why they're not feeling well. Well, I do. And Grace knows, and Rachel knows. And Nirankar, who you're about to hear from, also knows that we can choose better. We can make new choices, and we can love ourselves more deeply as we embark upon this nutritional, organic, nutrient-dense protocol. So I'll stop for now, and I want to just give it back to Rachel. And thank you all for bringing yourself to this journey, because it's deep, and your body is going to thank you. Your future self, CELLF, is going to thank you. And I wish that I had this protocol 10 years before the cancer diagnosis, because I might not have gotten the cancer. So back to you, Rachel.
I'm into that. I love it. The cell, CELLF, cell. We're going to nourish ourselves. We're here to nourish, regenerate, renew ourselves. And so I'm going to pass it on to our nourishment coach, Nirankar, who's also a lovely musician, and she is just a delight. So I'm going to pass it off to you, Nirankar.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Stephanie. So delighted to be a part of this tribe, my tribe, all of you. A very brief part of my story, I worked in healthcare as an exercise physiologist for 25 plus years. And I thought I could transform healthcare from the inside out. And what I realized, building on this self-love that both Stephanie and Grace have spoken to, is that in our medical model, there wasn't the capacity for me to teach about self-love and how that was the edge of transformation. And so if you know that, what the protocol we're speaking of has transformation right in it, the ultimate lifestyle transformation. And so for me, what this community, what this protocol, what these products, what this opportunity has given me is a chance to integrate what I saw as a huge gap in the medical world, that there was no mind, body, spirit integration. Healing was not a mind, body, spirit process in that world. It was very hard to bring spirit into it. It was very difficult for me to be who I was and speak deeply to the capacity to transform on many levels in the healthcare world. And so what I want to bring light to here is that, yes, we are talking about nourishment. nourishment on all levels that leads to transformation. And so the opportunity that we have is to find our individual growing edge, our individual intention, wherever that is for us, whether that's in relationships, whether that's professionally, whether that's in a medical space in terms of our physical health, whether that's our mental health, whether that's our relationship to spirit, that actually this opportunity is called transformation for a big reason, in that it provides it pushes us up against our growing edge in many areas, in specifically how we're able to nourish our body, how we're nourishing ourselves at the cellular level, how we provide deep nourishment, mind, body, spirit. And so I'm going to bring this down a little more concrete for us to your pantry, to your home, and bringing that intention that Grace just spoke of, and our loving essence of ourselves that Stephanie just spoke of. And I'm going to start to share some practical ways that we can get going. So not holding your intention, we can also look at our physical space. So this is our physical space. And then what does our pantry look like? What does our kitchen look like? What does our refrigerator look like? And so first, we are going to talk about how to get these products in your hands. And while they're on their way, then it's really valuable to take a look at what other parts you can begin to look at. Is there clutter in your kitchen? Is your refrigerator have things in it that have been hanging out there for months and just need to be wiped and cleaned up? And you can start to take a deep look at this capacity, our capacity to detoxify. And so detoxify has a lot of different, or cleanse, right? That we don't refer to this necessarily in that essence, but that's what we're doing. We're decluttering, we're detoxifying, we're cleansing in such a gentle, loving way. And so I invite you, while we begin to kind of get concrete and start to share with you what this actually looks like for you, that one step is to consider what you're hanging on to in your pantry and in your kitchen. Because begin to look at that and say, oh, I don't need that anymore. I don't need that anymore. I really don't want to have this in my life anymore. I'm no longer going to buy it. I'm no longer going to use my resources to bring it into my space. I'm really going to jump into thy intention in such a loving way to clear it all away. And so look in your pantry, take a look, a couple of ideas. One, are there non-organic processed grain products? Or, start to begin to look at the labels. Is it possible that there are, without going into it deeply, how many of you know what glyphosate is? Just put a 1 in the chat. If you know what glyphosate is, then begin to eliminate products that may have glyphosate in them, which are non-organic grain products across the board. And if they're organic, then it's likely they still have glyphosate in them. Glyphosate is an herbicide in our water, in our air, and it begins to deteriorate our gut. And so this is a process to begin to heal your gut. So look in your pantry. Do you have crackers that are non-organic and have oils in them? Do you have chips and processed food like that? You may begin to release them from your space. And this is not about depriving yourself of things that you love. What you're going to see is that we are eliminating with a process of addition. We're adding such deep nutrients that you aren't even going to think about those things anymore. your cravings are going to begin to dissipate. And so get in that pantry, begin to look at the grains and the beans and anything non-organic. Begin to take a look at processed foods that might have colorings in them, or natural flavorings, or oils that are kind of embedded in the processing part. And I'm going to just mention that this journey, feeling into the community here is a part of loving it has been a part of loving myself, is feeling the support of the people you have in front of you. So when you look in your pantry, I would offer to not come at it with a lot of judgment and criticism of yourself, but to just feel us here as your support, holding you as you begin to let go of what you're ready to let go of in the next 90 days. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Rachel for some detailed next steps.
Yay. Well, I'd love to open it up for question, because this is a support container for you. And so some of you, if you have already purchased, your Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation and you have questions about it, this is a good time to ask. Or if you're just like, I don't even know what this is, and get me started, feel free to just share any questions you have. And maybe you have specific health concerns that you're, addressing, but this is like this is an opportunity to really just kind of connect with the community. Or if you want to just hop on and just share your inspiration right now, you're welcome to do that as well. We just like to hear your voices and, engage in a little community conversation here. And thank you, Nirankar. I really love the pantry cleaning. I think that's so important. So helpful. I need to hear that myself and be reminded. Yeah. Any thoughts? I'll just wait. Hi, Nancy. It's good to see you all the way over there on the East Coast.
And welcome to Margaret Chase. I'm so glad you made it. Yay.
Well, it looks like we don't have any questions. I guess everyone's ready to go. Who's starting right now? Like, who has actually got their products and is ready to start tomorrow? Is anybody? Who's waiting for their products? Who's waiting for the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation? Is anybody waiting for them in the mail? And then who is actually wanting to order? Is there anybody here who's like, okay, I got to order? Who already has their products? Starting a 90-day tomorrow. Glad to be here. Thank you. Glad to be here. I have mine. Okay, cool. I got mine as well. So one thing I want to say is that you don't have to have your products to begin. You can actually start by just doing the pantry cleaning that Nirankar said. And just to kind of like reiterate the foods, I highly recommend, this is your protocol and you get to, obviously it's your body, you get to make all the choices, but I really encourage you to embrace letting go of certain things for this next, at least the first 30 days. Okay, because the first 30 days, we're just kind of getting our feet wet. We're just starting a gentle cleanse. We're beginning to detox. We're letting go of parasites. We're letting go of any acidity in the body, allowing our bodies to become more alkaline. And so we really want to avoid things that feed pathogens in the body, things that are allergenic foods, GMOs, like Nirankar said, anything that's genetically modified has glyphosate on it. And so cleaning out our pantries, what does that also mean? Like, what if you don't have your products? Like, what if you just want to get started with the nutrition? So I would say, most importantly, you want to remove animal products. All right. And so you want to start increasing the amounts of vegetables and fruits you're taking in. So increasing like lots, it's the winter, right? So we want warm foods, lots of steamed greens, lots of, if you're going to saute vegetables, do a water saute. You can just use water instead of oil. Highly recommend that. Removing oil is what's going to allow the liver to cleanse. You want to let the liver get clean. Okay. So like removing any oils so that the liver can now detox. And then also, increasing, you can have things like potatoes and sweet potatoes. If you're gonna do like grains, organic whole grain quinoa, organic whole grain brown rice, organic, oatmeal. These are things that are safe to have, that are also main staples that can keep you feeling really filled. You can have any kinds of fruits right now, like any kind of fruit, bananas, grapes, whatever you like. Grace, did you have a question or thought?
There's a question in the comments, just asking if you'll go over the ULT and just talk a little bit about what each of the products do, if you're up for
Sure,
it.
no problem. And also want to mention that I posted in the chat the website that has all the facilitators, because that's another thing we forgot to mention, that we have all these facilitators who are going to support us on this 90-day journey. I'm one of them, Grace is one of them, Nirankar is, Stephanie is, and there's about 13. So we're going to have all kinds of things in a Telegram thread that we're going to support you with. As far as the products, so right now, if you have your products, what I recommend is just starting off with taking the shakes, the green shakes, which are basically like one shake is like having 12 microgreen salads. It's incredibly loaded with nutrition. It doesn't matter if you want to do the Love Super Meal or if you want to do the Power Shake, as long as you're getting both, you're getting in 2 shakes a day, that's going to help your prep your body for what's coming. And that's going to help you start to detox. It's going to help you eliminate all the spirulina in there. It's going to help remove metals. It's going to help nourish your cells with lots of different vitamins and minerals. The barley green juice kills off any viral loads. Almost everybody, the majority of people have some kind of viral load, whether we're carrying around Epstein-Barr virus, whether we're carrying around herpes, whether we're carrying around strep. Like most of us are carrying some form of a viral load. And so barley green juice helps eliminate that. And then we've also, there's just so many different things that are in that green drink that are going to nourish your cells, that are going to be more food than your food actually is. So, right? It's going to be more food than it's going to be food to nourish your cells. I would say do that twice a day. And then also have your tart cherry juice every night. So you can start to have really deep sleep and just feel completely renewed in the morning. So you feel energized in the morning. You feel like you've had deep rest. That helps deepen your sleep by, it doubles your dream time, honestly. Studies show that the average person maybe dreams about 3 hours per night. This is going to help you dream 6 hours per night, which is incredibly important for health. Health relies on sleep. This is where your immune system really blossoms, is when you get really good sleep and you feel nourished in the morning. So this is going to help with really, really deep rest. The super aminos, you can have those before or after or with your shakes if you want. If you really are looking for simplicity, have your super aminos, which is your plant-based protein, have those with your shakes. And then if you want, you can also spread it out. So I like to do my super aminos with fruit first thing in the morning. And then a couple hours later, I have a green drink for lunch or for breakfast. And then I'll do my super aminos, and then I'll do my green drink again and so super aminos always take with some kind of fruit or vegetables. I always have it with food, either fruit in the morning or maybe like a plate of steamed greens in the afternoon. And then, your shake in between, right? So it's like super aminos with food and then shake, super aminos with food and then shake. And then have a nice healthy meal for dinner with your family, if you like. Any meal of the day you can have, the green drinks are going to replace 2 of your meals, and then you're going to have a nice healthy clean and green meal, right? You can have salad, you can have potatoes, you can have brown rice with veggies. I like to dress it up with coconut aminos and maybe little brags for flavor, stuff like that. You can have salsa, you can have avocados. Avocados are always great on salads, are always also great as like condiments. And on anything really. And there's all different kinds of recipes in the group. One of my favorite is a coleslaw. It's like my go-to that I have. That doesn't have any mayonnaise or any dairy, but it's really delicious. It's like I dress it with oranges and avocado, and that gives it that creamy texture. So, and then you have your biomedic. Your biomedic is what removes glyphosate. You only need 1 or 2 a day. Really, you can do fine with just 1 a day, and then that's going to help That's a probiotic that removes glyphosate. So it's a probiotic as well as a prebiotic and plus biotic. And so that's amazing. Our studies show that it removes 75%, 74.5% of glyphosate in 6 weeks, taking one a day. So you can do that over time. Did I leave anything out? And then that's all we're going to do for now. And then next time we meet, we're going to talk about the if you want to do an immersion or a cleanse for the following 10 days, you're welcome to join in that, or you can continue on this protocol for the entire 30 or the entire 90 days. So this is a lifestyle. So you can do this ongoing and just have an amazing life. And I've been doing this for the last 8 years. None of my symptoms have returned. And I highly recommend just adopting this as a lifestyle. I always have at least one green drink a day. I really try to have 2. I would say I do it about half the time. I have 2 green drinks a day as maintenance. But in this first 30 days, you want to just flood your body with nutrition. And if you have any kind of skin rashes or anything like that, just know that that can accelerate for a little bit. Those can get worse before they disappear. So if you have eczema or you have any kind of rosacea or things like that, those things can sometimes get worse for a little while and then they'll completely go away. If you have hair loss, this should help your hair to start growing back in. This is something that I see again and again is people growing hair back. Not only that, I see people's hair going from gray to brown. I've seen a lot of people, their hair start to turn back. So it's just, you know, all kinds of amazing things can happen. It really is. And we'll go to Nirankar next. And then, you know, if you have any kind of symptoms that you've had in the past, like nausea or headaches, these symptoms can return momentarily. They can return for like 1 or 2 days, sometimes 3 days, and then they disappear completely. So that's part of the detox process. So I just wanted to kind of give you that idea. Nirankar.
I was just hoping you could speak, Rachel, to the fact if someone's thinking, well, what happens if I get hungry? What would you suggest?
If you get hungry, eat more greens, eat more fruit. Like we're not counting calories here. That's not an issue. You can if you can like decipher, ask yourself the question. I always ask myself first this, is this a hunger or a craving? Am I craving this or am I actually hungry? If you're actually hungry, feed yourself. Don't go into caloric deficit. Okay. Don't be afraid of that. It's really good for you to eat. And sorry, I'm getting feedback here. I'm going to mute you. But I had noticed that in my first 3 days, I couldn't really tell the difference between hunger and cravings. I would be like, is that hunger or is that a craving? I don't know, you know. But the thing is, if you don't do those green drinks in the morning and the afternoon, if you aren't getting those little snacks midday and you wait, you will get hungry and then you will have cravings. So it's really important to make sure you're getting those green drinks and your super aminos and your salads and all that stuff. It is important that you're getting that every 2 hours. Every 2 hours, you're putting something in, right? So fruit in the morning, 2 hours later, green drink, 2 hours later, vegetables with your super aminos, 2 hours later, then you have a meal, right? That way, when you get to mealtime in the evening, you're not like, I'm starving, I'm gonna have bread and I'm gonna have dessert and I'm gonna have to have my Bliss ice cream and whatever. It's like, you're not gonna go for all the things because you haven't been starving yourself all day. If you skip any of these during the day, catch up. Like I say, if you skipped your morning green drink, then have twice as much as soon as you can, right? Don't get behind because that's what causes cravings. Hope that's helpful. Was there anything else? Okay. So I think the last thing I'll say is just that if you, when you order your products, then you can join the Telegram group, and then that way we'll have accountability in the Telegram group, which is just an app that's like a text message app that you can put on your phone. And I recommend putting it on the front of your phone so you see the notifications. And then we'll be announcing in that group all the facilitators. So anybody who's going to share movement, we're going to have sound baths, we're going to have meditations, we're going to have educational every Saturday. You can depend on this Zoom to happen to answer questions along the way. And this replay will be put in that Telegram group as well, so you can watch it or share it with anyone. And if you have anybody who wants to, you're like, I wanted them to experience this as well, it's not too late. People can jump on anytime over the next 90 days. It's not too late for anyone to join because health is always available, right? We never turn away anybody because like of the timeline. So definitely you can invite people. There's a kickback if somebody on their first order, if you introduce this to a friend or a family member, whoever is your sponsor, whoever like invited you into the program, they'll give you $30 for their first order. So that way you get to have something to help pay for your orders. Okay, so that's one of the things we have with this wonderful referral program. We thought also if you decide to post on social media, the company is very generous. They'll give you reward points, which will give you free product. And that's really fun. So just stay in contact with whoever invited you and they'll help make sure that you're plugged into all these resources so that you have access. And then if you're curious about anything like that, let us know. So yeah, I think that's all I'll say for now. Anyone else have anything else to share? Feel free to hop off mute.
Yeah, I'll add something here. So if you're anything like me, after 6 months of doing these protocols, I knew that I needed these products in my body for the rest of my life. And it was at that point that I started sharing. So if you're interested in learning how you can earn residual income and join us in our mission to help people get healthier and wealthier, talk with the person that invited you to be here and learn more about that, because we are on a mission to transform the health of this country, Canada, and the European Union thus far, and hopefully more countries as time goes on. So, yeah.
Thank you. Beautiful. Well, thanks for joining everybody, and thank you, Nirankar and Grace and Stephanie for facilitating and being part of our group facilitation. I'm looking forward to what you all are going to share in that Telegram thread. And if anyone has more questions, just let us know. Reach out to the person who invited you, and we're always available for consultations along the way if you need them too. Okay. All right, everyone, have a great day. Oh, Grace.
Rachel, can we
Yep.
just invite everybody to come off of mute and just say hello, goodbye, thank you. I just love to hear everybody's voices. If you're willing to just click your mute button and just say goodbye.
Or a takeaway. If you have
Yeah,
any.
or a takeaway. Yeah.
Hey guys, goodbye. Have a great afternoon. Love
Dan.
you.
And thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys got the information. If you didn't get the information you need about how to use each product, just like keep asking, because like it's super worth it. So just ask. Okay. We love questions.
Mhm.
Woohoo, let's do it.
Let's
Hey,
do
Glennon.
it. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Nice
Happy
to
Rice, you
hear
came up.
you.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Michaela, hi.
Hi, thanks for having me. And I really enjoyed learning about all of this. And I'm, as you guys were talking, was on the website looking at different things. So I look forward to learning more.
Awesome.
Right on.
Yeah, and those of you who are watching now or the replay, if you have any questions, just know also that you get 25% off of your product. So from the person who invited you, they have a gift code for you. Yeah. Midge, were you going to say something? Margaret, were you going to say something?
Margaret.
Just going to say hi and thank you for the invite. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good to hear from you.
Just saying, have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Midge.
Thanks,
Midge.
Midge.
You too. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Cheers. Bye. Thank you.